Make some noise real quick if you're here in the place to be.
Back to School Fresh is an annual community event held at Shalimar Park where we unite nonprofits, local barbers, artists, musicians, and local businesses in efforts to foster community and provide resources for our youth in the community of Shalimar.
1, 2, 3. It's important to me. You guys look good. I like it.
This idea came about, I was working in another shop and I had a walk-in appointment made. So it just happened to be Eric, and he looked really familiar when he walked in. I was like, I think I know this guy from somewhere. I know I do. And we started talking just like my normal routine when I cut anybody's hair, and then I found out we're actually from the same neighborhood. We grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same high school, know all the same people. Both Eric and I were fortunate enough to experience a nonprofit organization that used to take place on Shalimar. It was all stuff for the community, for the youth, to kind of keep us out of trouble and like kind of be a positive impact for all of us. And I expressed to him how that wasn't happening anymore. And I always wanted to do something like that and just kind of bring that back. And he expressed that he wanted to do the same thing, and we just randomly were like, all right, let's just do it.
Check, mic check, 1, 2.
The motivation for Back to School Fresh is to ultimately bring together nonprofits that we believe in, great barbers of the area, and people who are really good at what they do so that they can meet the kids, so that the kids can interact with them. And also bringing the city of Costa Mesa together allows us to connect these nonprofits with the city as well, so that we can connect the city with people who are actually doing the work that is necessary for the community and for what the kids need.
This event specifically, I love it because when I have a kid sit in my chair and he's telling me about how his summer went and how school is and how everything that's going on in his current life, like I can relate to. We grew up in the same neighborhood, we're the same person. And like personally growing up in a single mom household, I experienced the stress of what it was going back to school, what that meant, you know? And like your day-to-day bills and all that stuff for a single mom don't change just because you're going back to school. So when it came to getting a haircut, I knew that that $10 haircut was something that my mom would actually stress about. So for me, it was more of like I want to eliminate that little bit of stress off of someone the way that I wish somebody would do that for my mom. It was great to see how it developed from, all right, if I can take away the stress of this haircut to, okay, let's take away the stress of the backpack. Yeah. And let's take the stress away about this and that, you know?
You got your shirt too or no? Not yet. Hey, let me see what I got. I think I do have one. Let me see.
Lambert and I and Eric, as well as Charlie, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. Charlie is a little younger, so I remember he used to hang out with my little brother, right? A lot of us did grow up with nothing, you know, a lot of single moms and a lot of welfare and food stamps out there. So sometimes you would hear it often, like, no, I'm gonna wait till the day right before school because I want it to last me, you know, even though it's a free haircut, they're just like, no, wait, like, because you don't have it like that, you know? So honestly, it feels good when you have friends that are willing to donate, you know, shout out to Adam and Charlie and so many different people, you know, that came by, as well as clothes. You know, I remember I wore hand-me-downs, you know, a lot of us did. So it's nice to give away a free t-shirt, a nice fresh shirt, you know, they can wear and look fresh in, a nice haircut, all sorts of things like that. And also a nice meal, you know, even then, a TK burger, I mean, that's still, you know, these kids, they don't got it like that, believe it or not. We would split $5 and we would be happy, you know. Nowadays, you don't really get that all the time, especially with inflation now, you know. So it's nice to have them enjoy a nice meal, get a nice cut, and listen to some good music, you know, and get a nice fresh shirt. I mean, who wouldn't feel good, right?
For me personally, the back to school event means a lot because when I was young and living in Shalimar, we saw a lot of gang violence growing up, and the only thing that really made us feel comfortable was being in community with our neighbors and the community leaders that decided to help us out, decided to give us a sense of community. So when we had this opportunity, it just felt completely right to be that next generation that gives back to these kids, and they can feel a sense of connection with their neighbors, and they can feel a sense of connection with the city of Costa Mesa, and they don't feel like they aren't being paid attention to by the neighbors and the community leaders. It acts as a way to connect the kids to the adults and the adults to city leaders. And I think that's what inspired me to get involved with something like a back to school event.
So if you want to get a beauty basket, go ahead and get a girl ticket. All right, we're going to call one more winner then. Going once, going twice.
There's obvious need for more love and attention. And so I think everyone can do that in their own communities as well. It is not that much work. It's just a matter of the willingness to do it and acting upon that. None of us profit monetarily from these events. We get donations and then we pay some of the vendors or the DJs and stuff. Like, we don't benefit. No. And Bright Youth, Bright stands for bringing resources that inspire growth and hope for today's youth. So that's Bright Youth. And so that's what we're doing, bringing resources, and we want to inspire growth and hope for today's youth.
Oh my gosh, it's going so fast. Slow down, kid.
We have so many community leaders that play such a different role in the event that I think everyone's purpose is different. Whether it's teaching a kid about a certain art, like Eric's a great artist that he'll tell you he learned, that was brought to him as a kid in these programs.
Yeah.
So we can do that for someone else. So we're like, hey man, like you can paint, or you're interested in cutting hair, like, hey, we'll find you a scholarship to go to school. Like,
right.
You're interested in music, Dow can like help you with that. Like, he's a great producer, he's a great artist, you know,
right.
Like you want to go to college, Lambert can set you up with all this stuff. So I think for us, it's just more of like being that resource for these kids now that like we had, that helped us go the correct route. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then just being those examples for these kids, because ultimately they just need to see someone doing it, and also someone to tell them like, hey, you know, there's another way, or, you know, hey, like, what do you, like, what's up? Like, how are you? Acknowledging them and just being that sense of hope for them.
Yeah. I think it helps too that like all of us are from this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So when I'm cutting these kids' hair and they're telling me all these things, I'm like, dude, I lived right there, and I can point at my house, you know, and we all went to the same schools and stuff. And he tells me like, oh, I want to do this. I could tell him, hey, you can do it because we did it. School, businesses, all this stuff. It seems really like out of our reach when we're kids, and it helps to see someone from your neighborhood, someone that relates to you, be able to accomplish it. It makes it more hopeful. Like it's,
right.
Yeah, it's more attainable goal.
Yeah, 100%.